Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View, the My Hometown segment coming to you from Hazelton, North Dakota. And my first guest today is Tracy Hansel. He is the superintendent of the Hazelton-Moffit-Braddock Public School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. I am so excited about your school because it's a fantastic school. I toured it and it's state of the art. And tell me a little bit about the modernization of the school.
Well, the history of it now, this is my 8th year at Hazelton-Moffit-Braddock School, so I was not here at the time that it was built. But, in 1996, it was deemed that the community needed a new high school, and that was what was decided. So the construction began and it completed in 1998, and the students were able to start their second semester of that school year, basically January of 99. So it's a beautiful building. I feel extremely fortunate to be able to walk into a job with this type of a building to be able to maintain. And we have, it's for the size of school we're very fortunate to have the, luxuries of what the building has, from as our gymnasium is I think a beautiful place, as well as we have a media room. Our cafeteria was doubled in size during the renovation. Now, just to explain, when I say renovation / building of the high school, the elementary school was built in 1963. So they basically built the new high school and attached it to the elementary. There's a doorway there that shows that. And therefore, when the new building was built, additional renovations took place in the elementary school as well. So the entire building was modernized. Everything was from technology to all the way to the rooms themselves. Very extraordinary classrooms. It just was a really positive thing for the community. Beautiful building.
What is the student enrollment?
Right now we are pre-K through 12. We are 140.
Okay, and what I was so impressed when I toured the school is it really is state of the art. It's as good as any school out there. You even have a theater room, which not every school does. A theater room is it's like a college setting, right?
Yep. And unfortunately, the theater room is used, for board meetings, and even we allow, some classes to take place in there. Wonderful place as far as viewing a video, or even the sound is state of the art in there with the system we have, and the seating. It's ideal. It's a theater seating, so it's all raised throughout the room. So yeah, it's an excellent place to host. Like I said, the school board meetings, any additional staff meetings, but the community uses it as well. City council meetings, sometimes it take place in there. I know the Bank of Hazelton has used it for their annual meetings. So the fact that the community can come in and use that room along with other areas of the building is always a positive thing.
I bet the students love it too when they have a class in there, because it's like, wow, I'm like in a theater. Yep. And I want to ask you about, how is it that a town the size of Hazelton is able to have such a beautiful school?
Well, the history on that is initially the decision was made to build the high school onto the elementary. That decision was made first. And then, of course, there was a cost to that. So obviously the school board had to go to the community for a bond or to get approval for that. But fortunately, we had an anonymous donation that was over $2 million given to the school in order to build this building. So that donation and it allowed us to increase the size of the building, at the gymnasium, the weight room we have there, the theater room, the types of classrooms we have at the cafeteria. That was all able to be done because of the donation. So,
and I want to talk about that because I think it really reflects well on Hazelton. And why we do the My Hometowns is that there's so much character coming from these small towns throughout North Dakota. And the anonymous donor once lived here, doesn't anymore. And he left here right after sophomore year in high school.
Right.
So you must have made a big impression on him, the residents of Hazelton.
The community must have, because the gentleman was here, 30 years before the project took place, and he returned and was inspired by the community and the people here, and was generous. His generosity was, in full force at that time, to be able to allow the community to maintain and keep the school here, because that was really important to the community, and he felt that. So, yeah.
You know, as a reporter, because I write too, it's always frustrating to me when somebody wants to be anonymous, because I want to interview them. I want to tell their story. But I so respect the fact that, you know what, this isn't about him. He just wanted to help the town of Hazelton, and he helped in a really big way, because that means a lot for the next generation. And there are many generations in Hazelton that have been here for like, what, 4 and 5 generations?
Yes, actually, that was something I had, we discussed before and it'll be discussed later, as that even, students previously have kids now that are taking classes from the same teachers. So yeah, it's great to see. I love to see the pictures on the hallways of them graduating from Hazelton, and then them, the emotion and the happiness when they see their children graduating from here too. It's really special. It's important. Yeah.
So speaking about emotion, something that's hard for people is when teams consolidate.
Yes.
And that's tough, because you cheered for your team. It's tough, but at the same time, there's some positives that come from that. And you have 3 different schools that consolidated, right?
That is correct. And just looking at the history, doing some research, Hazelton was its own, up until the early 70s. And then when Moffit came over, the graduating class, it was Hazelton-Moffit High School. That was the first graduating class, was 1972. And then 20 years later, it became Hazelton-Moffit-Braddock. And consolidating like that, it's challenging, because you have your own identities. All the communities have their own identities, and they want to keep and maintain that. In my experiences here in my 8 years, I've seen only positive and wonderful relationships develop between the 3 communities. Again, I wasn't here when it took place at the very beginning. I know it must have been a challenge. I know there was a lot of pride in those other communities. But at the same time, we recognize them. It's the Moffit Cougars, the Braddock Bobcats, and so I do recognize that. And I want to make sure that lives on for all those communities. And they really have come together. From what I've seen, like I said, it's really a strong, tight-knit 3 communities, and it's wonderful to be part of that.
So you build new relationships, and you have a bigger pool of talent. So that's good too, because sports is fun.
Yeah, exactly. Maintaining that enrollment.
Yeah.
That's how schools, stay alive, and that's how we're funded, is with the number of students we have. And so coming together, we're able to keep that small town, yet bringing those 3 smaller communities together to maintain the school.
And stay strong, even grow stronger. So
yes, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We have much more to talk about with Hazelton, so stay with us with Ladies of Another View on back.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Megrum Excavating and Plumbing Company, Hometown Credit Union, Russell Schick CPA.
My name is Dr. Jill Steinley, and I'm a gynecologist. As a gynecologist, I see women for their preventative health care visits, and an important part of that is doing routine breast cancer and cervical cancer screening. It's important for women to have regular breast and cervical cancer screening to identify cancers early when they're most curable, and ensure that you're around for many years to enjoy your family and your loved ones and be there for them.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. Travel the country with Trent on the loose, and we'll find those interesting human interest stories behind the people that bring us the efficient food supply. Trent on the loose.
We are rewriting Hollywood's script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth, and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. This is an opportunity to hear the other side, the progressive side. I think people lose sight of the fact that there's still work that happens after the session's over. Describe it to people if you like. There was an attack on NDSU, in my personal opinion. I'll use that word, you don't have to. Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome to No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. God, your ego is so tiny and fragile. I'm Rick Becker.
And I'm Lori Hins.
Make no mistake, folks, we lost. Again, we lost the war in Afghanistan. Dynamic. There's nothing wrong with rattling the cages of the old guard.
Your retreat begins at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha. The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight, just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Bank of Hazelton, Right Start Mathematics, Beestrom Oil Company,
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, the My Hometown edition, coming to you from Hazelton, North Dakota. And we are joined by Leanne Donnelly. She is the Hazelton Park Board Treasurer. And the reason she's here is when I asked people who can talk about recreation and the Parks Department, everybody kept saying Leanne. So here she is. And I want to find out, first of all, what goes on with the Park Department here in Hazelton?
Well, we have a city park. You can come and camp. We have 7 campgrounds with full hookups, pads, cement pads. We have a shower house. We have a lot of bicycles that come through or on the path, the ones who travel from across the state. We have a nice playground, and we provide community days for the community. We host that down there.
So community days is during the summer, right?
Right. So
And
it's the 3rd Saturday of June.
3rd Saturday of June. Is that the same weekend as Father's Day? I think I heard that. Usually. Okay, but 3rd Saturday in June.
Mm-hmm.
And do people come across state lines? Are they people who grew up here and want to come back?
Some are who grew up here, families. Depends if they have family reunions that day. We start off with a parade in the morning and then go down to the park for lunch, and there's volleyball, softball, and other things that get planned.
I bet it's a lot of fun for people who've moved out and miss home. And you see old friends, right? So it's kind of like an all-city, all-school reunion.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yep. And then in the evening, we have a street dance.
And you graduated here.
I did.
right?
I graduated in 2002.
What I love about your story, I always like to find somebody, whatever my hometown we're doing, I like to find somebody who left and came back. And you lived in Fargo and Moorhead,
Mm-hmm.
and came back. And you mentioned to me how you really appreciate that your kids are going to a good, small hometown school.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
What do you like about
classes,
it? Okay.
a little more one-on-one. It's just they like to walk down the hall and see my picture. Some of them have my teachers that I had when I was in school.
That is so cool. That is so cool that somebody that you had as a teacher now, I bet they think it is too, that they have some of these second generation kids.
They are. My daughter gets called my name a lot in school.
I bet she enjoys that, you know?
Sometimes.
Being called by your mom. And I think it's fitting that you are on the park board because I know you really enjoy recreation.
I do.
So I want to talk a little bit about that too. You hunt and fish, right?
I do. We spend a lot of time out at Beaver Bay and the Hazelton boat dock, which is about 15 minutes from Hazelton here.
Okay.
We do lots of fishing.
And what kind of fishing?
Walleye.
Walleye, okay.
Yep.
And the Beaverton boat dock then? You said it's about 15 minutes? It's
the
on
Hazelton
the Missouri?
boat dock is about 15 minutes, and there's also Beaver Bay. Yep.
Okay. All right. So 2 different ones. And when it comes to hunting, first of all, I love fishing, but I don't hunt. So I always want to make sure I get the information that hunters want out there. If you want to come and hunt in Hazelton, first off, what do you have to do?
You can contact anybody. Contact your farmers.
So, like, you have to get permission, of course.
Correct.
Right? You don't just come to Hazelton and start walking around with your rifle and
no.
Land
is posted. Yeah, and there's phone numbers on there, and just contact them.
And what kind of hunting do you have here?
Deer. We have spotted some moose and elk.
Okay, there are moose here in Hazelton?
Yep.
All right. I bet that's kind of exciting. Are they usually here, or is it something that from year to year you might have some moose?
They've been trickling in lately, so.
Yeah, I wonder where they're coming from.
They're swimming across the river.
Seriously?
They can.
Yeah.
They can swim.
Okay. And you recently shot a moose, right? You and your fiance?
Did. Me and my fiance did. Yep.
What do you do with moose meat?
We eat it. We make hamburger, steaks, roasts, jerky.
Really? How does it taste?
It's good.
It's
got a sweeter taste.
Do you have to take it to like a butcher?
We process it ourselves.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do? Go out in the back and butcher your moose?
We butcher it, and then you grind it up for hamburger, and yeah.
And how many pounds do you get? Like, you got 2 moose now.
We have 2 moose, yes.
Yeah. So you're going to be having moose for a while.
We have a lot.
Okay. And what do you, like, how many pounds do you get per moose?
My fiance's had about 175 pounds, and mine had about 150.
Wow. That is funny. Yeah. Well, from not being a hunter, yeah, I wouldn't know about that. So, okay, so tell me more about community days and activities that people come back to Hazelton for. I suppose, well, there's the Christmas. By the time we air, we miss the Christmas event.
Right, we have holiday happenings.
Holiday happenings is what it's called. But that's something that's open up to outside the area too. Like, you don't have to just be from Hazelton.
No, we have like a vendor show. So anybody is welcome to come.
All right.
And people come and shop, and Santa Claus comes in at 1:30, and then all the kids come.
I understand that Santa Claus has been coming for generations.
Yes.
That is also cool. Not just the teachers knowing the parents, but Santa Claus knows your grandparents and
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that really gets kids to sit up straight, right? When they can, Santa can tell stories about their grandpa and how he knows that grandpa was a good boy and grandma was good. And yeah. So what do you like the most about Hazelton?
It's small. Everybody knows everybody.
You know, it's funny, as I was getting ready to come here, I was thinking of that song from Cheers, Everybody Knows Your Name. And I thought that's the beauty of small towns. And that's why we love doing this. And Hazelton, for sure, like anywhere I talk about this topic or this person, you know, everybody knows that my hometown was coming to Hazelton.
Everybody knew.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just kind of something consoling about that, you know, because everybody loves each other. You know, okay, you got different personalities there, but you came back and you stayed.
I did, and I love it.
And
I wouldn't change it.
And you want to raise your kids here because you want them to have the advantages that you had.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that about Hazelton and all the small towns. So thank you, Leanne, for coming. And
thank you.
I'm going to have to get some tips on moose burgers, or I don't even have any moose burgers, so I don't know, maybe I can get some from you.
You can try it.
Yeah, and try it because
Absolutely.
I'm intrigued. So thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Mike and Linda Appert, Appert Farms Incorporated, Beck Communications, Voller Ag Incorporated.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree dental card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree dental card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree dental card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree dental card, you save $525. The Carefree dental card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree dental card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jill Clemene. I'm a family medicine physician and also work in the breast specialty clinic. We typically see patients with any concerns with their breasts, lumps, bumps, rashes, pain, anything. I really care about women here in North Dakota and feel so strongly about these women really taking the best care of themselves, and part of that is getting breast cancer screening on a yearly basis. If you're a healthcare provider, help save a life and make a Women's Way connection. Many women are eligible and you can help connect them to Women's Way.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha. The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Megrum Excavating and Plumbing Company, Hometown Credit Union, Russell Schick CPA.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, the My Hometown, coming to you from Hazelton, North Dakota. And I am joined by Pete Kaczelshan, who is a former civil engineer and a local history buff. When I said history, Pete, your name kept coming up. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. And I love talking about how did the town start. So why don't you tell us, where did Hazelton come from?
Okay. Up front, Hazelton was founded in 1903 by a man named John Rope. But to really talk about Hazelton, you got to go back about 20 years to another town east of town here that's long extinct. It was called Williamsport. It's about 2-3 miles east of town and about a mile plus north of there. And Williamsport was there, and it was the original county seat of Emmons County. As Emmons County, in the early days, a lot of the population was in the northern part of the county. As the southern part of the county filled up, they wanted a more central location. And after some bitter election and battles and court fights, the county seat was moved to the middle of the county, and they established a town called Linton.
Okay.
And so that was one strike against the town. And then when the railroads came through, the Sioux Line Railroad kind of stayed north, and they went through like Braddock, Kintyre, Napoleon. And they missed Williamsport. And then when the Northern Pacific decided to build a branch line from McKenzie through southern Burleigh County, northern Emmons to Linton, they bypassed Williamsport for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, to me, as a civil engineer, if I was laying out the route, I'd have taken it through Williamsport. There was a town there, an established town, people there. Yeah. And if I look at the lay of the land, it looks like an easier route to build on. But And that kind of spelled the end of Williamsport. And people began to drift away. And a lot of them came to when that railroad came through, it came through the land of John Rope. And he platted a town site right adjacent to the right-of-way. And he named the town after his young daughter, Hazel.
That's interesting that he picked, that it stuck and it was just named after one of his daughters. So Hazelton was born.
Yeah.
And now we have a fourth and fifth generation. You know, I know the Shea family, and that kind of put Hazelton on my map as a town to come to. And when I was talking to you, you said, oh, yeah, it's kind of legendary how his family came here. Both grandparents.
Actually, the Shea family came.
Okay.
They kind of came I kind of looked through their history and reviewed it, but they came, they kind of immigrated here in the early part of the 1900s, like so many other families did. But his maternal grandfather, Matt Stramer, they were looking for somebody in this town. Baseball years ago was a very popular sport. And sometimes they would supplement the local talent by bringing people in. And they were looking for a barber that could play shortstop. And the story is he answered the call, and he came here, played ball. I know he went off to World War I. He came home, married a local girl, and settled down here. But that's his mother's family.
Okay,
the Shea
Stramer family, right.
Yeah, he's been here, but like you said, the Shea family's been here since the early 1900s. And I think it's the fourth generation now out on that farm.
Right, right. I think it's interesting that they used to bring baseball players in just because they enjoyed baseball, wanted a good team, and they needed somebody to cut hair.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird combination of how many times you put a job resume like that out.
Right, yeah. But, and so was it just like these little farm country leagues?
Yeah, that's basically it was. Each town around here once upon a time had a baseball team. And it was the thing to do. I mean, a lot of times they played ball on Sunday and people would come for miles. They'd bring their blankets and picnic baskets and sit on the ground and have a good time, socialize, watch the game, and root and cheer. And
I love that some of those people that did that, their grandchildren and great-grandchildren are now here in Hazelton.
They got some descendants. But a lot of times these people, they'd bring them to town, they'd either find them a part-time job. And I was reading one account once where they would pass the hat down the street taking collections from people.
Oh, to pay the baseball players? Wow.
And, this is the teens, the 20s.
Yeah.
They collected one weekend, they collected like $1,000 by passing the hat.
Wow.
They must have taken the game seriously here.
Yes, and they wanted their baseball players to keep coming back. Yeah. Speaking of coming back, now you lived in Virginia, in the D.C. area, Baltimore, I believe, for over 20 years, and you came back to Hazelton. So why did you come back? Why didn't you stay out in the bigger cities?
I guess I got tired of the rat race. That's the easy way.
Yeah.
It was the traffic. I only lived 30 miles from Baltimore to Annapolis. But some nights I could spend 2 hours getting home. If there was an accident and it was raining and everything else, it might be a 2.5-hour commute home.
And so we can safely say there are no traffic jams in Hazelton, right?
I have not sat on any street for 3 hours in the back.
Oh my gosh!
One of my days in the Jersey Turnpike, that was a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine because I'm originally from the Detroit area, but I've lived in North Dakota for 31 years, and life is easier. So if you're watching from another part of the country, you might want to think about Hazelton, North Dakota, right? Because you came back.
Yeah, when I got close to retirement, I came back here. Yeah.
And I bet it's probably was nice coming back and seeing a lot of the families that you were still here when you left.
Yeah, some of them here.
And now you have more time for your hobby of history.
It makes it easier when you go to Heritage Center and dig through the records up there,
Okay. But there is, what I love is that there's so many people stepping up to volunteer positions like the newspaper.
Yeah.
Right? So Carol Human puts out the Hazelton newspaper, and you occasionally write a history column.
I've been writing a little column for her, finding something I find interesting. If I find it interesting, I'll write about it.
Okay, in less than a minute, what is one of your favorite little fun facts about Hazelton? I just threw this at you out of the blue, but okay, what's one of the favorites of things that you write about?
I've just been bouncing around if I find anything that interests me.
Okay.
I don't know why I kind of got up, but during that stretch of time here, there were 12 different shootings. 6 people got shot and killed in a period of 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I know it sounds kind of morbid and stuff, but you look at the background, you go through the papers and get the stories, and you begin to go, wow.
Like what years would that have been?
The first 3 occurred. One of them was right on Main Street in town here in 1918, and the last one was 1930.
Wow, just kind of a Wild West atmosphere back
that's
then.
What
maybe?
I don't know. I've heard that rumor off and on. Hazelton had once upon a time had a reputation of being a pretty little, kind of wild little town.
Okay, well, I think things have calmed down.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, so Main Street is safe, everybody. But those are interesting aspects of the town because it's also a reflection of the history back then too, right? Yeah. Right. So, well, thank you, Pete, for joining us.
Can I just say one quick?
Sure, you sure can.
You just mentioned the families.
Yeah.
I mean, just like some of the longevity, like the Colberts and the Apperts, Kurtzes, Brindles, they're still descendants here. They came about the 1880s.
Wow.
And then, like you said, the Shays and people like Doolittle's, Beestrums, Schermeisters, Weisers, Purringtons, they've been around in this area since the beginning of the 1900s, too.
Wow.
Shortly after the turn of the century, a lot of them came here. And just one little last thing about Hazel. She was born at Williamsport in 1897, but spent her adult life in Bismarck and died around 1987. So she was nearly 90 years old, but she went to Bismarck, but she kind of stayed around here too. So.
Right. Well, the town still remembers her. So yeah, Hazelton. So yeah. Well, thank you, Pete.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
And we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View, my hometown from Hazelton.
My hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Bank of Hazelton, Right Start Mathematics, Beestrom Oil Company.
Hi, I'm Kirsty Hintz. I'm an RN at Bismarck-Burley Public Health, and I'm a local coordinator for the Women's Way program of North Dakota. Women's Way is a program that offers breast and cervical cancer screenings to eligible women in North Dakota. I love that I get to help women every day and really make it easy for them to get these screenings that really could save their lives. Getting screened is a great way for you to take care of yourself and be there for your family and those you love.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground. Enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
We are rewriting Hollywood's script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Parents, listen up. Here's what your kids are being taught in public school: that there's no difference at all between boys and girls, that every white person is racist, and so is math. Supporting Black Lives Matter and social justice is more important than reading and writing. And thanks to Joe Biden, teachers' unions just got tens of billions of dollars in COVID cash to push all this in front of your kids.
That's right, and we want to make sure you not only stay informed, but have the tools to fight back. So watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
My name is Jolene Kaplan, and I work for Tribal Health Education. Our health education staff encourages our Native American women to get screened right away for breast and cervical cancer. There's a lot of our women in our community that take care of their grandchildren, and I tell them, if you're not there, who's going to take care of your grandchildren? Early detection is the best protection for our Native American women.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Mike and Linda Appert, Appert Farms Incorporated, Beck Communications, Voller Ag Incorporated.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back coming to you from Hazelton, from my hometown, and I'm joined by Bev Voller, who is the Hazelton Development Corporation president.
Correct.
And you have a very important job. And if I can say so, it's a volunteer position, which so many important jobs are, because the community comes together and makes it work. You also have a background in health, right?
Yes, I'm a registered nurse and I run a public health department for Emmons County.
And so this is just a very important side job.
Yes.
But you've made a difference in this city. For instance, let's talk about the community grocery store. Tell me how that came about.
Well, I actually was the secretary of the Hazelton Development Corporation many years ago, and as people have left the community or have died, I just rotated into that position. And so I don't expect a lot of credit from myself, but from those previous community members that were able to step forward. And we did a survey many years ago before the downtown business center was built to see what the community was interested in. And at that time, our community was really struggling as far as the buildings were getting run down, the ones that had been up for many years. Our grocery store was, we knew that the owner was thinking about closing the grocery store. And so a survey was sent out to the community members to see what they felt we should do. And one of the things was we needed new buildings in the community. We needed a grocery store. We just needed to spruce up our downtown business center.
I know that a grocery store is so important to any community. And so to think about somebody closing and leaving, but you didn't let that happen. And I want to know, how do you create a community grocery store? What is that?
Well, at the time when we did the survey, that grocery store was definitely identified as we have to keep the grocery store. So the downtown business center became a brainstorm of, it was the previous banker, Mr. Wentz, and then another member, Tom Weiser. They were the ones that put the grant writing together, the business plan, sought out different avenues for funding, which included the USDA, the Bank of North Dakota, local donations, a lot of local donations to make this work. And so the grocery store was a piece of that. And then we had some private individual owners previously, and in a small town close to a larger city, it was almost impossible to make that work. And so they had tried several different private owners over the years, and it actually closed probably for about a year. And that's when the Development Corporation did another brainstorming session to try and figure out how can we keep this grocery store open. And so with the grocery store, we knew if we didn't have a grocery store, we couldn't keep young families here. We couldn't keep our elderly here because they didn't have the means to go out of town to go shopping. And so there again, we got together and the townspeople donated money once again to buy the inventory for the grocery store. And that's where the idea came of a community-owned grocery store.
So by community-owned, I know that, for instance, if you need a new cooler, you have a fundraiser, right?
Absolutely.
And this is, if you're from a big city and you're watching, I'm sure some people are like, what? Like, this is amazing that the community is making sure this grocery store keeps running. and then you hire people to work.
Right.
Right. But there's a lot of volunteer efforts that go into keeping this grocery store running, right?
Well, it's not only the grocery store, but it's the whole downtown business center and the community. So it's been phenomenal fundraising and trying to keep the whole town going. So we do almost every month, we have to have some kind of fundraiser to pay off the loan on the business center, keep the doors open on the grocery store. We have people, town people, that donate hundreds of hours over the years trying to, have a community breakfast, have a meal once a week at the coffee shop. Just do a lot. The holiday happenings is another one of our fundraisers that we do. So it just takes a lot of community volunteers to support the community, and not only the working, but then you bring the food and then you still donate because you're donating again to support the fundraiser. So it's kind of a round robin thing in the community.
I want to say, though, about the grocery store. I went in and I visited. It's a beautiful store, and they have fresh baked buns every morning. And people will come from Bismarck. They'll come from outside to get that fresh baked bread.
Yes, it smells wonderful.
It
You
does.
go in there, they have that baked goods and not only bread, but cookies and popovers and muffins. And so it's just really been nice. We've got a phenomenal manager right now that's doing a really nice job promoting things, and then just finding that niche. And I think that baking is the niche that gets people to come into the grocery store and then buy other products also.
And when I walked in and I talked to the manager, I said, "Is this my imagination, or am I smelling fresh baked bread?" And she said, "Nope, it's not your imagination." And I love it when you have something like that that draws people in. And I encourage people, when they come to Hazelton or any small town, get your gas, go to the grocery store. We want to support each other. And the small towns, there's so much character and personality and activities that come from places like Hazelton. You want to keep it going. But speaking of keeping it going, we're going to be talking about the Right Start Math, which is the boardroom we're televising from.
Sure.
And it's because of an offer you made to them. This is an international company. We're going to talk more about this. But were very instrumental in having them locate here.
Well, it wasn't just me again. It was our, just the community. When the school was built, our goal was to keep the enrollment up in the school. And so not only do you need a grocery store, but you need businesses and you need jobs. And so there again, we received some funding from an anonymous donor to help draw families to the community with housing, and then also try and entice some businesses to open, because if you've got businesses in your community, these people are going to support the grocery store. They're going to send their kids to the school. And so everybody thrives on everybody else. And that's the other unique part about a small community. So that funding was used to bring in Right Start Math, and it's been a wonderful fit for the community. She employs a lot of people. These people, they go to support the meals on Mondays at the coffee shop. They buy groceries at the store. So it all works together.
And it's really keeping things moving in a positive direction, and giving even young families a reason to relocate in a beautiful town like Hazelton.
Yes, we really appreciate having that business. And then she added on this last 2 years, and it's they're growing and the community's growing somewhat. It's still a slow process, but it's growing.
It's an amazing company. We're going to talk about that next. Thank you for joining us, Bab, and we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View, coming to you from Hazelton, North Dakota.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Megrum Excavating and Plumbing Company, Hometown Credit Union, Russell Schick CPA. Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now.
My name is Dr. Azure Bearstail. I'm an enrolled member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. I believe that it's really important for women to stay up to date on their cervical cancer screenings because it is one cancer that if we catch early, it is treatable and can be potentially treated with a surgery and without any chemo or radiation. Cervical cancer rates are actually on the decline, and that's with women staying up to date on their healthcare screenings.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Bank of Hazelton, Right Start Mathematics, Beestrom Oil Company.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Billings, host of The Right Side with Doug Billings, where we take great joy every day in entering into your lives at key moments to make differences for the better. That's how we fulfill the meaning of life. You can see me on Beck TV and Beck.News. Cheers.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. This is an opportunity to hear the other side, the progressive side. I think people lose sight of the fact that there's still work that happens after the session's over. Describe it to people if you like. There was an attack on NDSU, in my personal opinion. I'll use that word, you don't have to. Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at Beck.News.
For women who give their all for others every day, it's easy for self-care to get lost in the shuffle. Regular breast cancer screenings save lives. Take care of your loved ones by taking care of your health. Talk to your healthcare provider about a breast cancer screening today.
My Hometown of Hazelton is brought to you in part by the following: Mike and Linda Appert, Appert Farms Incorporated, Beck Communications, Voller Ag Incorporated.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View, coming to you from Hazelton, North Dakota, for my hometown. And I'm joined with Kathleen Cotter Clayton, who is the Vice President of Right Start Math. And
Yes.
this is an amazing company.
Well, thank you.
I spent some time here, and you've convinced me that math isn't as bad as I thought it was.
Very true. A lot of people have a lot of fear about math, but when it's taught properly, it's so easy. It's so fun. It's joyous. And
Yeah.
so many people don't put math and joy together as those two words, but it is. There's so much fun and joy with math, especially when it's taught right.
What's exciting is you are an international company.
Yes.
You have a map in the hallway with push pins on all the different companies. How many different countries are you in?
I don't even know.
Approximately,
all?
Every country? Well,
yeah.
we're not Iceland, but you know.
Yes,
we're
in
in
Iceland.
too.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Antarctica. You're not in Antarctica. Yeah,
I
I don't know.
think
You might be. You
we
might
be. Yeah, I don't know that we are there. There's not a lot of people there, though, either. Not a lot of kids.
But you ship. I know you're big in Australia and New Zealand.
Very.
And very big in the United States.
Very big, yes. Yes.
So huge, huge international company. And you take math in a different direction than is typical in school. Tell us what do you do? Tell us about the abacus.
What
that you
we
use.
do, we created, Dr. Cotter, who actually is my mother, created an abacus to give the children a visual idea of their math. So she presents it visually. So instead of it being just a random symbol that we call 3, she shows them the quantity 3. And then how, when you're putting 3 together with another 3, you can see that it's 6. Again, it's not just 2 symbols that mean something. So we present it differently, and then we go on and we practice what we've learned with card games. So there, instead of doing piles and piles of worksheets, the kids are playing card games. And of course, that's bringing the joy and the happiness and the excitement into math, the interest into it.
And making it easy, yeah, to
right.
learn.
Yep. So that's kind of the nutshell. What it is in a nutshell, why we're different. We've got the abacus and we've got the card games.
And you supply jobs to Hazelton? How many
Yes.
people do you employ here?
We've got about, and it's funny because I was thinking about this, how many do we have? Because the number, I can never remember it, but it's somewhere around 20. And then we've got some other people that do work remote. So all in all, there's about 30 total between remote people and people in the building here.
What is unique about your company is you do it all here. You print everything. You make the abacuses.
Yes.
There's nothing you don't do. You mail it from here. Tell me about didn't the FedEx truck have to send a second truck once? You have
It's
so many
actually
shipments.
UPS. UPS is our
sorry.
main one. Yep.
Okay.
And I heard a couple years ago that they were actually taking bets every day to see how many packages we would send out. And we just got done with our Cyber Monday sale. I think I heard right before I started this that they have all the orders processed, and we had 570 orders that came in less than 24 hours. So needless to say, the UPS truck is very full right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
One thing I was impressed with when you gave me a tour of the facility is you have a stash of paper. I almost shouldn't say this because you saw the shortage coming because of
Yes.
shipments and COVID. You saw the shortage and you have not slowed down. You stocked your inventory ahead of time, right?
We were actually very fortunate. The original building is 6,000 square feet, and that's the one that Hazelton Development Corporation helped us build and establish. And then in 2019, we finished up a second edition. We added on another 8,000 square feet, and that we finished in October of 19. And of course, we all know what happened in January of 20. And so actually, it was my husband at that point said, don't you get a lot of your stuff from China? And I said, yeah. And he said, you might want to get that now. So we filled our warehouse up. And along that line, 2020 happened and, things were kind of going in and out. Something would come in the receiving door and it pretty much, clap hands and be out the door going out to a customer. But then we started having problems with paper shortages, which a lot of people are aware of. And so like with our paper shortages, we used to keep an in-house. We'd always have about 3 pallets of paper. And a pallet of paper is 2,000 pounds. So we kept 3 of them as our bottom line. Now with the paper shortages, we keep a minimum of 8 pallets of paper because we do all our printing in-house. And so if we don't have paper, we can't print books, we can't ship out products.
Yeah, so you really do everything here from the printing
Yep.
to making the abacuses. It really is an amazing, very impressive operation. And why did you choose, we talked about it with Bev a little bit with economic development, but of all the places you could have built your facility in, why did you choose Hazelton?
It's actually kind of a funny story. We had somebody working for us who was from Hazelton, and at that point, we knew we had to expand our operation, and we were kind of thinking, well, we could go here or there. Or we knew what we were looking for, and this other employee said, I think Hazelton, you might want to talk to them. I think they're giving away land. And we went, what? And so we came up here and we talked with Bev and the whole group, and they ended up giving us some land. We ended up buying the rest of the block. So we own the whole block in the city. And they also gave us some money to help him with the building. And that's actually how we came in, was because of Hazelton Development Corporation. If it wasn't for them, I don't think we'd be in this town.
And you came in from Minnesota?
No, we were in North Dakota at that time. We were in
all right.
Linton, so 15 miles south.
All right.
And then we knew we had to expand. We didn't really plan on coming up here, but the deal was so sweet. And the people are so wonderful here. I wouldn't have it any other way. Now knowing what I know, because we've been here since 2007, I wouldn't have it any other way. The community is wonderful. They've been so supportive. It's just been wonderful.
That's very remarkable when you do come from the outside and you feel so welcomed and that you're glad. Yeah, that says a lot because you haven't been here for 3, 4, 5 generations. You're new, but you still put down roots.
Right. Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. And out of our 20-ish people that work here in the building, about 30% are from the town of Hazelton. So that's kind of fun. And we do pull people from other places, but as we're pulling them from Moffit from the north and Linton from the south, where are they buying their lunches? They're going to the grocery store here. They're going to the local gas station. They're buying things here. So it does make a difference having us in the town, I do believe.
Absolutely, yeah, because a lot of times people are going outside to get work, and now
Right.
with your company, for sure, they're coming inside.
They're coming
to work
in. Yep.
and spending their money, probably coming to the events. Yeah, getting to know people. Some probably even settle down here, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, it's kind of fun. One of our employees just lives right across the street from us. So I can actually look out the window and I can see Nikki's house.
Of course, you can't call in sick either,
Yeah, we can look in and go, I think you're outside.
She's watering her lawn. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, before we go, tell us, how can people find out more about Right Start Math? Do you have a website?
Yes, we do. It's rightstartmath.com. RIGHT startmath.com.
Well,
and it's an elementary and a middle school curriculum. We do not do high school. We just worry about laying that foundation.
But you get them off on the right start,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you, everybody, for joining us here in Hazelton, North Dakota, for my hometown with Ladies of Another View on Beck.